Have you ever wondered why Sookie allowed Bill and later Eric to feed on her? Yes, I know the sex was really good, but I don't think I'm willing to let someone bite me and drain me dry for some good loving. Yet it happens all the time. Many of us sacrifice so much of ourselves to feel loved and to be in a relationship and to feel valued. And very much like the fictional characters from vampire movies, we start to behave like the familiars. We become little bitch boys, girl toys, punching bags, and doormats for our masters. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would anyone in their right mind agree to take part in such a terrible relationship? Well, that's the magic word, my friend. Right mind. Many people who are victims of vampires, they're also victims of psychic attacks. And they aren't in the right state of mind, for lack of better words. They're broken down, they're weakened, they're wounded, and they're forced to bend to their master's will. However, in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can protect yourself from psychic attacks and how you can become a psychic vampire slayer so you'll never be anyone's prey ever again. So it all starts with an origin story. Sookie Stackhouse from True Blood was orphaned at a young age. She was reared by her grandmother and nagged by her older brother. She was bullied and considered to be a misfit or outcast in her town. Unbeknown to Sookie, she was half fae, and she had this uncanny ability to read people's minds, to hear people's thoughts, and even feel their emotions. This made it difficult, if not impossible, for her to have real intimacy and thrive in a loving relationship. Then there was Blade, a hybrid that was half man and half vampire. A daywalker, his enemies called him, as he invaded clubs, massacring his enemies with silver bullets and his famous vampire killing sword. Now, Blade was out for blood. He was looking to kill the culprit who bit his mother and turned him into a vampire. Lastly, there is Shauna from the Amazon original film Black as Night. Shauna is a young girl living in New Orleans with her father, and she is bitten by a vampire, but for some reason she doesn't turn. Later, we find out that her mother was a full-fledged vampire, only to be mistakenly killed by Shauna when she was exposed to sunlight. Now, what do all of these characters have in common? Pain. Not just any pain, but a deep-seated pain that permeates every aspect of their lives and causes them to make not the best decisions. Modern mystics such as Eckhart Tolle will call this type of pain the pain body, or others will call this type of pain the original wound. But much like all wounds, it festers, if not treated and if not healed. Now let's take a look at the enemies in these movies, the bad guys, so to speak. There is Bill, a 100-year-old vampire who is obsessed with Sookie. There is Frost, a vampire who fed on Blade's mother while she was giving birth. And lastly, there is Babino, a pissed-off ex-slave who wanted to create an army of insurgent vampires. Now, what do all of these vampires have in common? Well, it's a given, they're predators. But more than that, they feed on pain. So in short, they're looking for people who have an exorbitant amount of pain stashed away in their psyche and all throughout their body. Now, we inherently understand that vampires feed on blood because blood is allegorical for life force or chi or for ashe. However, we must also understand that vampires pick their victims wisely, and they will only target those who they know that they can easily overpower. Now, let's talk about you. You feel drained when interacting with certain people. They annoy you. You feel irritable. You have a sixth sense that people are talking about you behind your back. Or you feel like you have to walk on eggshells so you don't offend a certain person. Or worse, you have to dim your light so others can shine. You're always trying to figure out what to say to please them, and you feel like you have to change so much about yourself to be around this person. You begin to lose yourself. You lose interest in your hobbies. You lose interest in self-care. And soon your whole life revolves around the psychic energy vampire. You fail to realize that these psychic vampires were breaking you down the entire time, molding you into the person they wanted you to be. Besides, that's how psychic attacks work. Predators tend not to waste your time on people who are going to put up a good fight. They would rather go for the quick kill. Now, it doesn't mean that you're a weak person because you are a victim of a psychic attack. Most people get attacked when they're distressed or when they're in the most vulnerable state. And instead of being ravished by a predator, they're seduced. This is perhaps why the face of the vampire has changed throughout the years. They've gone from hideous, ugly beast to handsome heartthrobs. This has happened because a new and improved vampire doesn't want to scare you. They want to break down your barriers. They want to knock down your defenses. They want to make you vulnerable. This way, they can willingly feast on your flesh and soul. Now, you might be thinking that it's not so bad if they take a little bit of blood. Besides, your heart can pump it all back and replace it. However, the vampire isn't just looking for blood. The vampire is looking to rob you of your soul. You'll find after you're around them for quite some time that your whole life begins to revolve around them. Your goal is fixated on pleasing this psychic vampire. Just look at Sookie and how she put herself in danger over and over again for Bill and later for Eric. And psychic vampires can never get enough blood, or in our case, chi or ashe or life force. They feel this sick sense of pleasure when they're taking someone's personal power. And if they have power, or ashe or blood for that matter, they can't get enough of it. As a result, they're always on the hunt for more victims, for more power, for more blood, for more energy. We saw this with Frost, who just didn't want to live as equals with humans. He wanted to rule over them. And Babadook wanted to infect everyone he could sink his teeth into. In truth, people who have a great deal of power amass this power from unsuspecting victims, or they amass a great deal of power by feeding on people's weaknesses and feeding on other people's pain. Come on, guys, haven't you ever wondered why there's so much drama porn? Why are people so adamant about getting you riled up? It's the psychic vampire's way of fattening you up so that they can in turn suck you dry. As a result, you lose all of your personal power, your ashe, your chi, and they continue to gain more status, wealth, and nobility. Now, vampires are popular today because they are analogous to the junk culture that we're forced to buy into. We are swept up into the controversy, the drama, the conflict, and we lose power. And that power is needed to heal ourselves, to manifest our desires, to live a better life. More importantly, our own needs are neglected for the sake of our masters. And we, as a society, tend to dwindle down this path of degradation, while others live high on the hog. People would tell you to simply not listen to these people, to tune out, and to surround yourselves with crystals and incantations and other types of spells for protection. And yes, it's true, all those things can help you against psychic attacks. However, the best way to stop psychic attacks for good is to become a psychic vampire slayer. Now, you're not actually going to go out and slay real vampires. Rather, you're going to slay or heal that wound that is festering inside of you. After all, that's what all these characters were doing in these shows. They were fighting against their own inner demons. And the vampires that we saw them fighting on TV were just manifestations of their own inner turmoil. So, if you truly want to become a psychic vampire slayer, you're going to need to slay that demon inside of you first. In other words, you're going to need to heal that original wound or that pain body. And here's how. Now, I truly believe that the people who are victims of psychic attacks are victims because they don't have enough energy or ashe or chi to heal their body, soul, and mind. For these reasons, I find that it's always best to get back into nature. And you can start by just giving offerings. Put some flowers down by a tree or some nuts or other fruits that can be consumed by Mother Nature. Remember, this is a ritual that will help you realign with your human nature. This way, you'll gain the strength and the know-how to heal that original wound. Over time, you'll start to feel different, more energized, more alive, and you'll no longer want to be around this energy-sucking vampire. In fact, you're going to be repulsed by them, and you should be repulsed by anybody who threatens to take your energy. anybody who threatens to violate your space and make you their familiar or your blood slave, for lack of better words. Now, this ritual is very simple, but it's not easy. You're still going to be tempted to be around certain types of people until that wound actually heals. So just know that you're going to need some type of support system or something else to put the energy into until this wound actually heals. So just keep in mind that you want to stay away from negative people while this wound is healing. So you can also include meditations. You can also take saltwater baths. You can also bathe in salt water, whether it be the ocean, or sweet water, whether it be the river. All these things helps you to wash negative energy away, and it helps you to improve or heal that original wound. And once you're able to heal that original wound, you're no longer losing energy, or you don't have people around you who are sucking that energy from you. And so this will allow you to keep your energy, and you can manifest. You can manifest money, you can manifest love, you can manifest your desires and your dreams, and more importantly, you can continue to replenish and heal your body and soul. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I would love for you to like, subscribe, and share. Also, love comments. What do you feel about Blade? What do you feel about Shauna? What do you feel about Sookie from True Blood? Love to read comments. And if you guys are looking for a good read or you would like to support this channel, please click on the link below and get a free subscription to Audible and get my free audiobooks for free. I said free like 3 times. Okay, this is Yes You Blue. Peace out.